Some stories are just too good to be true. We hear them as kids. Tales of pirate gold buried on deserted islands, lost cities of gold hidden deep in the jungle. These legends spark something inside us. They make us wonder, what if? They ignite that desire for adventure. The truth is, most of these stories are just that, stories. But every now and then, a discovery is made that blurs the line between myth and reality. Something is found that feels like it was pulled straight from a Hollywood movie. This is one of those stories. It's the story of a single, small piece of metal. But this isn't just any piece of metal. It's a coin that witnessed history, survived against all odds, and came back to tell a tale of desperation and freedom. This is the story of the escape coin. It's a tale that has everything. It has a desperate beginning, a long period of darkness, and a shocking rediscovery. It's a journey that takes us back to a pivotal moment in American history, a time of great conflict and great courage. This coin wasn't part of a king's vast treasure hoard. It wasn't buried by pirates on a remote beach. It was something far more personal. It was a last resort, a secret hope held in the palm of a hand. And for centuries, it was believed to be gone forever, a forgotten footnote in a much larger story. But history has a funny way of holding on to its secrets, just waiting for the right person to come along and uncover them. Think about all the lost objects out there, all the artifacts from our past, swallowed by the earth or lost to the sea. Each one has a story to tell. A wedding ring that slipped off a finger 100 years ago, a soldier's dog tag lost on a forgotten battlefield, a child's toy dropped and left behind. These objects are silent witnesses to moments in time. They connect us directly to the people who came before us. The escape coin is one of the most powerful examples of this. Its journey from a pocket to the dirt and back into the light is a powerful reminder that history is all around us, often buried just beneath our feet, waiting for its story to be told once more. Our quest today isn't for a mountain of gold, it's for the truth behind one single extraordinary coin. We're going to dive deep into its history. We will follow its incredible journey through time. We will explore why its discovery sent shockwaves through the worlds of history and collecting. This small silver disc is more than just currency. It is a symbol of hope. It is a testament to survival. And its story is one of the greatest treasure tales of our time. So, get ready. We are about to uncover the shocking history of the escape coin, from its desperate origins to its multi-million-dollar rediscovery. The adventure starts now. Before we can understand the escape coin, we need to go back, way back, to a time before paper money, before credit cards, before digital transactions. Imagine a world where trade was based on bartering. You have chickens, and I have grain. We trade. It seems simple, right? But what if you don't need my grain? What if you need a new tool, and the blacksmith doesn't want your chickens? This system had its limits. People needed a better way. They needed something that everyone agreed had value. Something small, durable, and easy to carry. This need gave birth to one of the most important inventions in human history, the coin. The first coins appeared around 2,700 years ago in a kingdom called Lydia, in what is now modern-day Turkey. These weren't like the coins we have today. They were small, lumpy pieces of a natural gold and silver alloy called electrum. They were stamped with simple designs, like a lion's head. This stamp was a guarantee from the king or the ruler. It said, "I promise this piece of metal has a certain weight and value." Suddenly trade became much easier. A farmer could sell his crops for these new things called coins. Then, he could use those coins to buy whatever he needed, from anyone who accepted them. It was a revolution that changed everything about how societies worked. As the idea of coinage spread, empires like Greece and Rome perfected it. They began mass-producing coins from gold, silver, and bronze. The designs became much more complex. They featured the faces of emperors, images of gods, and symbols of military victories. Coins became more than just money. They were a form of propaganda. They were a way for a ruler to put their face and their message in the hands of every citizen across a vast empire. A coin minted in Rome could travel all the way to the edges of the known world. It was a tiny metal billboard that declared who was in charge and what they valued. These coins carried stories and power wherever they went. This is the world that gave birth to the escape coin. It was born into a tradition where coins were not just for buying bread. They were symbols of identity, of power, and of history itself. Every coin tells a story about the time and place it was made, the metal it's made from, the face on its surface, the words stamped into its edge. They all provide clues. They are tiny time capsules. The escape coin is a prime example of this. Its story began not in a royal treasury, but in a moment of crisis, forever tying its value to a dramatic chapter of history that Americans hold dear. Now, let's fast forward to the late 18th century. The United States was a brand new country. It was a nation forged in the fires of revolution. After breaking away from Great Britain, the young nation needed to establish its own identity. And what's one of the first things a new nation does? It creates its own money. In 1792, Congress passed the Coinage Act, establishing the United States Mint in Philadelphia. It was a powerful statement. America was no longer using the coins of a British king. It was making its own, for its own people. These first American coins were powerful symbols of independence and sovereignty, a new currency for a new world. Among the first coins to be designed was a beautiful silver dollar. This coin was meant to be the flagship of the new American currency system. But before the official silver dollars went into production, a very small number of experimental versions were made. These are known as pattern coins. One of these patterns, struck in 1794, was different from the rest. It was made with an unusually high-quality silver and had a unique design. This specific coin, one of only a handful ever created, would eventually become known as the escape coin. At the time, however, it was just an early prototype, a piece of metal that represented the hopes and ambitions of a fledgling nation. So how did it get its dramatic name? The story is tied to a man named Captain Thomas Prescott, a diplomat working for the new American government. Legend says that Prescott was given this special coin as a personal keepsake by a high-ranking official at the mint. It was a token of esteem, a sample of the nation's bright future. Prescott was soon sent on a sensitive diplomatic mission to Europe, a journey fraught with peril in those days. Pirates, political rivals, and the dangers of the sea were constant threats. The coin, safely tucked away in his possession, was more than just a souvenir. It was a piece of his home that he carried with him across the ocean. The name escape coin wasn't given to it in 1794. That came much, much later. The name is a direct link to the most dramatic event in the coins and Captain Prescott's life. The story goes that during his mission, Prescott was captured by agents of a rival power and thrown into a foreign prison. He was accused of being a spy. His situation was dire. His captors took everything from him: his papers, his money, his belongings. But they missed one thing. They missed the single, special silver dollar that he had cleverly hidden. That coin, the prototype from the US Mint, became his only hope for survival, his secret key to a potential escape. Captain Prescott was in a very bad spot. He was locked away in a cold, damp cell, thousands of miles from home. He had no allies, and his captors were convinced he was an enemy spy. Facing interrogation and an uncertain fate, desperation began to set in. He knew that if he couldn't get a message out, he might never see his home country again. The guards watched him constantly. Every meal, every moment of rest was under their scrutiny. But Prescott was a resourceful man. He observed their routines, their habits, looking for any weakness, any opportunity. His mind raced, searching for a way out of his seemingly hopeless situation. His only hidden asset was the 1794 silver dollar. It was his last connection to America, and his only potential tool. The plan he devised was both simple and incredibly risky. There was a young boy who delivered bread and water to the prisoners each morning. The boy seemed sympathetic, or at least indifferent to the politics of the prisoners. Prescott saw his chance. He needed to bribe the boy to carry a secret message to the American consulate in a nearby port city. But he couldn't just hand him a coin. The guards were always watching the exchange. If they saw it, the plan would fail, and his punishment would be severe. One night, using a loose stone from the wall of his cell, Prescott carefully etched a tiny, almost invisible mark onto the coin's surface. A small P for Prescott, hidden within the design. The next morning, as the boy handed him his meager ration of bread, Prescott acted. In a moment he hoped no one would see, he pressed the heavy silver dollar deep into the soft loaf of bread he was given. He then used a prearranged phrase, a seemingly innocent comment about the quality of the bread, to signal to the boy what he had done. It was an incredible gamble. Everything depended on the boy understanding the message and having the courage to help. The boy took the bread and left. Prescott was left alone in his cell, his heart pounding. Had the boy understood? Would he be brave enough to check the bread and deliver the coin, or would he be too scared and simply throw it away? Hours turned into days. With each passing moment, Prescott's hope dwindled. He never saw the boy again. A different, stern-faced guard took over the deliveries. Prescott assumed the worst. His plan had failed. The coin, with its secret message, was gone. He believed it was lost forever, probably tossed out with old bread, its historical and personal value, unknown to anyone but him. He eventually secured his release through other diplomatic channels, but he always believed his precious coin was lost to history. Let's jump forward in time. Over 2 centuries have passed since Captain Prescott pressed his coin into that loaf of bread. The world has changed dramatically. The prison where he was held is long gone, replaced by a bustling modern city. The story of the escape coin was forgotten, known only to a few Prescott family descendants as a piece of strange family lore. It was a story with no proof, no evidence. The coin was just a ghost. But as we know on Expedition Unknown, sometimes ghosts leave things behind, and sometimes you find them in the most unexpected places imaginable. This is where our story takes a truly shocking turn. The year is 2026. A construction crew is working on a new subway line in a historic European city. They are excavating deep beneath an old street, clearing away centuries of earth and debris. It's tough, dirty work. Day after day, it's just dirt, rock, and the occasional piece of old pottery or a broken bottle. Nobody is looking for treasure. They are just trying to get a job done on schedule. Then, one afternoon, a worker named Marco notices something in the bucket of his excavator. It's a small, dark, circular object caked in mud. He almost tosses it aside, thinking it's just another old button or a worthless token. But something makes him pause. He picks it up and rubs some of the dirt away. The object has a surprising weight to it. It feels like silver. As he cleans it more, a design begins to emerge. He can just make out the faint image of a woman with flowing hair, Lady Liberty. On the other side, an eagle. Marco isn't a coin expert, but he knows he's holding something old, something special. He shows it to his foreman, who agrees it looks significant. They decide to contact a local museum, thinking it might be a local artifact of some historical value. They had no idea what they had truly stumbled upon. The museum curator who first examined the coin was intrigued. It was clearly an old American silver dollar, which was unusual to find in a European construction site. But as he looked closer, his excitement grew. The date, 1794, was just barely visible. He knew that 1794 silver dollars were incredibly rare. He immediately placed a call to a numismatic expert, a specialist in rare coins. When the expert arrived and examined the coin under a magnifying glass, his hands began to shake. He recognized the unique features of the legendary 1794 pattern dollar, and then he saw it. Hidden in the design, a tiny, hand-carved letter P. The lost escape coin had been found. The moment the expert confirmed the coin's identity, everything changed. This wasn't just an old coin, it was a lost piece of American history. It was the physical proof of a story that had been dismissed as a family legend. News of the discovery didn't just leak out, it exploded. It was like finding a missing piece of the Declaration of Independence. The museum was immediately flooded with calls from historians, collectors, and news agencies from all over the world. The construction worker, Marco, was suddenly an international celebrity. The man who had found a needle in a 200-year-old haystack. He couldn't believe that the dirty piece of metal he almost threw away was causing such a commotion. The story was simply incredible. The coin had survived being hidden in bread. It had survived being discarded, likely into a trash heap or a sewer that once ran where the old prison stood. It had survived for over 2 centuries, buried deep underground. It had survived the construction of buildings above it, and it had even survived the powerful scoop of an excavator. The sheer unlikeliness of its survival made the story even more compelling. It was a 1 in a billion discovery. The coin was immediately placed in a high-security vault, and photographs of it were sent to experts in the United States for final verification. In America, the reaction was electric. Coin collectors and historians were in a state of shock and awe. The 1794 pattern dollars are already among the rarest and most sought-after of all American coins. The thought that a previously unknown example existed was stunning enough. But the story attached to it, the story of Captain Prescott and his desperate gamble, elevated it to a whole new level. It was no longer just a rare coin, it was a historical artifact with a direct, personal connection to the struggles of the nation's early years. The tiny etched P was the key, the undeniable link that turned legend into fact. The world of high-stakes coin collecting went into a frenzy. Before it was even cleaned, before it was officially graded, speculation about its value began. Experts were throwing around staggering numbers: $1 million, $5 million. Some even suggested it could become the most expensive coin ever sold at auction. The escape coin wasn't just a piece for collectors anymore, it had become a global phenomenon. Its story was on the front page of newspapers and was the leading story on evening news broadcasts. Everyone wanted to know more about the coin that came back from the dead. So, what makes a coin worth millions of dollars? It's not just about the silver content. The value of a coin like the escape coin comes from a combination of factors, a perfect storm of rarity, history, and story. First, let's talk about rarity. Only a handful of the 1794 pattern silver dollars were ever made. Before this discovery, experts knew of only 2 or 3 in existence. Finding another one is like discovering a new painting by Leonardo da Vinci. It's an event that happens once in a lifetime, if you're lucky. The simple fact that it is a new, previously unknown example of an ultra-rare coin automatically makes it incredibly valuable to collectors who want the best and the rarest. But the escape coin is more than just rare. It has what collectors call provenance. That's the coin's life story, its chain of ownership. Most rare coins have a documented history of who owned them over the years. The escape coin has something even better. It has a legend. Its provenance is not a list of wealthy collectors. It's a dramatic tale of espionage, imprisonment, and a desperate bid for freedom. This story, now confirmed by the discovery, gives the coin a personality. It gives it a soul. When you hold it, you're not just holding silver, you're holding the very object that a man bet his life on. That kind of history cannot be manufactured, and it is, in a word, priceless. Then there's the physical evidence on the coin itself. The small, crudely etched P is the smoking gun. It's the physical proof that connects the coin directly to Captain Prescott and his story. For historians, this mark is even more valuable than the coin's silver content. It's a primary source document. It's a message from the past, carved in a moment of fear and hope. This unique feature separates the escape coin from all other coins on Earth. No other coin has such a personal, historical mark on it. It transforms the coin from a simple piece of currency into a unique artifact, a one-of-a-kind historical treasure. Ultimately, the immense value of the escape coin lies in its ability to capture the imagination. It's a story that everyone can understand and appreciate. It's a Hollywood movie script that happens to be true. The coin's journey is a powerful symbol of endurance and the surprising ways history can be preserved and rediscovered. People are willing to pay millions for it, not just to own a rare object, but to own a piece of that story. They want to be the guardian of the legend. That's why the escape coin is more than just a piece of money. It's a national treasure that transcends its monetary value. The discovery of the escape coin created a unique situation. It was found in Europe, but it was an American artifact at its very core. A cultural and diplomatic discussion began immediately. Who did the coin truly belong to? The construction company that found it? The country where it was unearthed? Or the United States, the nation that had created it and whose history it represented? The American people watched this debate with intense interest. Editorials were written, and politicians made statements. The consensus in the United States was clear: the coin needed to come home. It was a piece of America's soul that had been lost and now needed to be returned. The story resonated deeply with the American public. It was a story about one of the nation's first diplomats, a man who represented the young country abroad. It was a story of ingenuity and courage in the face of adversity, values that Americans hold dear. The coin was a tangible link to the founding generation, a physical object that had been touched and used by someone who helped build the nation. It wasn't just an artifact for wealthy collectors, it felt like it belonged to everyone. School children learned about the story in their history classes. It became a modern parable about hope and the surprising ways the past can reach out to the present. After months of negotiations, an unprecedented agreement was reached. A consortium of American philanthropists and history buffs came together to purchase the coin for a record-breaking sum, but they didn't buy it for a private collection. They bought it with the specific intention of donating it to the American people. The plan was for the escape coin to be permanently housed in the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. It would be placed on public display, where millions of visitors could see it each year and learn its incredible story. The news was met with celebration across the country. The day the escape coin was officially unveiled at the museum was a major national event. Descendants of the Prescott family were there, visibly moved to see their ancestors' long-lost legend finally validated and honored. The coin was displayed in a state-of-the-art case, with lighting designed to highlight both its original minting details and the famous, hand-carved P. It quickly became one of the museum's most popular exhibits. People would line up just to spend a few moments looking at the small silver disc, a silent witness to a great adventure. Now home, after more than 2 centuries, it had become what it was always meant to be, a national treasure. The story of the escape coin is more than just a fantastic treasure hunt. It has left a lasting mark on the worlds of history and collecting. For historians, the discovery was a powerful reminder that history is a living, breathing thing that is constantly being updated. It proved that sometimes, legends that seem too good to be true are actually based in fact. It opened up new avenues of research into the life of Captain Prescott and the early days of American diplomacy. The coin provided a new, tangible piece of evidence from that era, allowing us to connect with the past on a more personal and human level than ever before. It's a story that will be told in history books for generations to come. For the world of numismatics, the discovery was a seismic event. It reaffirmed the idea that incredible barn finds are still possible, that lost treasures are still out there, waiting to be found. It sparked a renewed interest in pattern coins and the early history of the United States Mint. The story brought a huge amount of public attention to the hobby of coin collecting, showing that it's not just about dusty albums and price guides, it's about uncovering stories and preserving history. The escape coin became the new Holy Grail, a benchmark against which all other rare coins are now measured, not just for their value, but for the power of their story. The legacy of the escape coin also lies in its power to inspire. It's a story of hope against all odds, a story about how a small object, combined with a bit of courage, can change a person's fate. It encourages us all to look a little closer at the world around us, to wonder about the stories of the old objects we might find in our attics or see in a museum. It reminds us that treasure isn't always a chest full of gold. Sometimes it's a single, small item that carries a huge story. It sparks the imagination and makes us all feel like a part of a grand, unfolding adventure. In the end, the escape coin's journey from a mint, to a prison, to the dirt, and finally to a national museum is a complete circle. It was created as a symbol of a new nation's promise. It became a personal symbol of hope for one man, and now it stands as a national symbol of history and survival for all to see. It teaches us that the past is never truly lost. It's just waiting for the right moment to be rediscovered. And it proves once and for all that some of the greatest treasures are not the biggest or the shiniest, but the ones with the best stories to tell. The search is what matters. The stories are the real gold.